What's going on, guys? You know what it is. It is 2 Point here with another video. We are here to actually talk about very, very interesting things that have been happening in the NFL, NBA. I do want to start. Sorry for taking a break. Um, I've been just grinding us all. I have 4 different channels, Twitch, and just my videos take really, really long. Like just in the sim, those videos take me at least like most of like an hour and an hour and a half. So those videos take longer. These videos take 30 minutes at least, half an hour. And then I have my gaming channel where I need to get 6 videos for that. So then I also have my other channel, the live channel. I can I can go live and everything at the same time, but getting fresh content for that channel, getting fresh content for this channel is kind of hard. Um, and I know everybody wants to hear the news and just hear all that, but let's get to that. So, very important in the news, we have Tyreek Hill saying in setting the record straight, saying Tyreek Hill has strong words on the future of being a Dolphin. Let me Let me see if my volume's all the way up. Because I don't want to play the video and get.
This is my first time
Here you
in
go.
the playoffs, man. So, I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family. If that's here or that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm going to open that door for myself. As I'm opening the door, like, I'm out, man. So it was great playing here, but, at the end of the day, bro, I got to do what's best for, for my career and, what's best. Because I'm too much of a competitor to be, just out there. If it is, hey,
You knew he wanted to say something at that end, but I think the biggest thing right now is him him saying that I want out. I don't want to be here, and if I am here, I'm forced to, money wise or just team wise. Because you got to think about it. You have the Dolphins team that it's not all their fault. Mike McDaniel, I think you have a big problem, not Mike McDaniel, but the actual team, because you got to think about it. This team is not that impressive. You don't, Jalen Waddle had one of in my opinion, had one of the biggest fallouts this year, was the most overrated player coming into the season. And then you have Tyreek Hill. The big off issue was with him getting arrested and just him. He's also 30 something. He's in his young 30s. He's has just a lot of things going on, and you got to think about it. You see his old team, the Chiefs, about to go on a three-peat or have a chance to go on a three-peat, and he hasn't won anything since he left the Chiefs. So you got to think about it. The biggest thing with him staying in Miami was the money, and also the whole issue, or that's like the whole thing with like that's why where people compare Tom Brady to Mahomes. Tom Brady took way less money than what he wanted or what he needed or what he really deserved, because like let's admit he was underpaid for his whole career, because the Patriots, Tom Brady knew if he took less money, and he already knew he was going to be a billionaire because of all his sponsorships with all the companies that he had. He didn't need that extra 20, 30 million each year, where if he took less money, more Super Bowl chances, he can get way more money than what he could have gotten a contract. That's where like Mahomes, if you look at him in the years where Travis Kelsey's not there, Andy Reid is not there, where those big targets are not there, you're going to have a trouble issue with Mahomes' $500 million contract. You got to think about it. a player is not going to be good for 10 years straight years. I think he's 27. I think about it, and I think he's in his third year. So you got to think about that is at least 7 years of him. So by the time that contract is over, he's going to be 35. And by that time that contract hits, because the later years, I think it hits like 70 something million. So you got to think about it, 70 something million. And those next couple of years are going to be really, really hard for them to decide what's going to be going. And Tyreek Hill is saying it perfectly. Like, I remember when he left, he was like, if money isn't the issue, like money was not an issue for him, he would have stayed on the Chiefs. Like, I don't know if y'all know, like, you remember, like, he wanted to stay, and like the bigger thing is he didn't stay. Look at what the Dolphins haven't done. They haven't done anything. I don't. They only went to one playoff game and lost. Tua's been injured. Their defense hasn't pulled up in the same amount of time. Tyreek Hill is at his down years. So you got to think about the future. I think he's in. I think if Tyreek Hill wants to go to a better situation, go win, you have to go be able to take less money than what you're worth. Because Mahomes, the big contracts that are hitting them this year are Mahomes, their guards, their old line. Those are big contracts that they have to sign. And also next year, they have Isaiah Pacheco to sign. They have all their good players to sign next year. And I think Travis Kelce's contract is up too. You got to think about that. Those big players, they're Tyreek Hill, they don't care about you right now. They're winning without you. And they have a young wide receiver core with Xavier Worthy and Rashid Rice. And they also have a very good mentor in DeAndre Hopkins and I know like this is gonna sound crazy, Juju. So you have a young and an old squad where really like Tyreek Hill, you're not gonna be useful there that much. Like obviously you're still a top five wide receiver, but right now they know if you look at their team, Patty Mahomes like is going to be there for most of the time that Xavier Worthy and Rashid Rice is there. So right now, they're more worried about Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy. They don't care about you. If you look at Travis Kelsey's stats this year, have not been great. I don't. Let me see. I can. Let's see. Travis Kelsey. So his stats this year in total is 823 with 97 catches. Where if you look at the past couple years, you had 1,000 receiving. Oh wait, no, that's his career. If you look at the past couple years, he's been getting at least like around 100, over 100 targets, and getting that 1,000 yard mark. He didn't even hit. He's used to getting also over five, like at least 8 touchdowns, and he got three this year. So you got to think about it. You're not going to have that same target where I don't know what Hill got this year. Hold up. Like you gotta think Tyreek Hill. You gotta think about Tyreek Hill. He had a decent season, but he had one of his worst seasons is since 2020 when he was with the Chiefs, or actually 2019 because he was injured most of that year. You gotta look. He only has nine. That's his second worst season. Like so, if you look at the Dolphins, like 81 receiving yard, 81 receiving receiving catches. I don't know why I can't talk. And then his yards are terrible. Like obviously he had his best few seasons last couple of years, but also you gotta look at the targets and everything like that. He's getting way better on a different team. So I definitely see Tyreek Hill is going to be leaving next year. I don't know if it's going to go towards the Chiefs. I think he wants to go to the Chiefs, but I don't know if the Chiefs really want him. Because if the Chiefs really want him, they would have already tried to get him. And then the bigger news, I am so I don't want to. I'll never pray for somebody to get fired, but also he's getting paid millions. Jeremiah was finally fired. The Patriots, I think they should have waited about a half of a season to make that decision. Like you said, like we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't. So right now, like you have Jeremiah that honestly he had a decent team. You had Drake May playing some decent time. You had a very decent defense. So you had a good studs. He just all the big hate that you had, you're never going like the New England went in when with Tom Brady. They're not. So this is Chris Cantley lays into Robert Kraft for firing Jeremiah. I haven't heard this.
When Robert Kraft comes out and says, we wish Gerard Mayo all the best, and I have no doubt that he's going to be a successful head coach. Well, guess what? You made it that much harder for him to be a head coach because he has this on his resume. The 2024 season, which was never going to be good, no matter who was out there. And if you want to sit there and turn around and hire Mike Vrabel or hire Brian Flores after you figured out quarterback, when you could have hired those guys last cycle, it's absolutely unfair to Gerard Mayo. And for all of the benefit of the doubt that we give the Kraft family for how they operate, they deserve every bit of criticism that they're going to get here today. They deserve it. They've earned it because it wasn't right what they did to Gerard.
I didn't see the clip yet because I think this literally came out 52 minutes ago. Honestly, no one knew the Patriots are going to be good. But you got to look at it in an owner perspective. Dude, if you go 4-12 with any team, and who was on their team? Hold up, I need to see. Who was their schedule? New England Patriots. I want to like see who they plays. Who like they have played. All right, so the Bengals versus Patriots, they won that. They should not have won that. Seahawks versus Patriots, the final OT. That any OT game is blamed on the coach. Any OT game, if you go to OT, that is showing your teams are net to net. To me, to my experience, I think that's on the head coach there. It's like saying it's also the same with the Seahawks. Also, Jets and the Patriots, how the Jets looked this year sucked. So honestly, that's him. 49ers, they look good. I think that's the first game that McCaffrey came back. Maybe. Dolphin Patriots, a 5-point game. That's a close game. Patriots versus Texans. Texans are good, so way better than the Jaguars versus the Patriots. They should have won that 100%. Jaguars do not look. What are the Jaguars' record? At this point, they were 2-5, and New England was 1-6. Yeah, sorry. But dude, the crazy thing is, in my opinion, like look at the Patriots and look how much terrible. Like they have decent players. They have decent players. They have Drake May, and I think Drake May is a good QB. You have Peppers, Christian Gonzalez. You have a very older style, but you have a good supporting cast where you could have gone at least 6 games. I want to see the standings. This is like a bigger thing that I care about. So they were 4-13. When you're comparing yourself to the Raiders, but the Raiders don't. Their best players, Max Crosby, and he wanted to leave. The Browns, you're looking at a dysfunctional team. You're looking at the Titans. So you're looking at a team like the Giants. I think, in my opinion, and I know this is a crazy opinion to say, how does any team that does worse than the Giants then the Panthers, then the Saints, then the Bears, you deserve to get fired. So any American Conference team deserves to get fired. The Patriots, look at their division. They have the Jets, the Dolphins. Most other team minus their conference, minus the Bills, are under a losing record. And then same thing with the Raiders. Raiders, I get it, because look at their team. They have the Chargers, the Broncos, the Chiefs, three of the best teams right now in the league. And then the Browns, you have the Bengals, Steelers, and Ravens. Some of the best teams too. Texans, like Jaguars, like look at even like the Texans. They were 10-7. So anybody saying that is not on the head coach is not right in the mind to say. And I remember there was a quote that he said where he was like, I cannot control what goes over the white lines. Yes, you can. You literally train your players every single time they go across that white line. So any single time you say, "Oh, I can't control them," what goes past, you literally do the play calls. You literally do the practice every single time. You confirm the practice. You're with the players. You're like, "Hey, Drake, man, I think you should do better on a high point pass," or "Hey, Drake, man, I think you need to work on seeing the wide receiver's drag route," or whatever. You do not ever say, I cannot control what goes past the white lines. I think Jerry Mayo getting fired is well worth it. A team, a head coach, look at what happened just now with the Jaguars. They fired Doug Peterson. And also, like, I want to see the Patriots record last season. I want to see something. I want to see the last season. They were 4-13, and then 8-9. Bill Belichick had an 8-9. Who was the head coach in the 2023 season? I think it was like a. Wasn't Jared Mayo the head coach last year? I don't even want to go to this because. So here's the statement from Robert Kraft. From Chairman and CEO Robert Kraft. After the game today, I informed Jerry Mayo he will not be returning as the head coach of the New England Patriots season. For me personally, this was one of the hardest decisions I ever made. No, it wasn't. In my opinion, he should have been fired after. Like, if you see, I want y'all to look, Jerry Mayo coaching. Half the time, it's him mic'd up. If he's mic'd up or something, he's just messing. I want you to look. Like, sorry if I'm going into this, but a person complaining about somebody getting fired as a head coach, I don't. It said, I've known Jared for 17 years, earned my respect administration as a rookie in 2008. You can be a good player, but you can also be a bad coach. Like, it is possible. Tom Brady can be a head coach and also suck. I mean, Tom Brady could be a head coach and suck. Like, on his leadership in the locker room, the way he conducted himself in our community. When he joined our coaching staff, his leadership was even more evident. However you say it. Old people. As I saw how players responded to him, with other teams started requesting to interview him, I feared that I would lose him, committed to making him next to our head coach. Winning our season opener on the road, Cincinnati only strengthened my convention. Unfortunately, the tragedy of our team performance throughout the season was not seeded as I had hoped. Because they had a good QB. Drake May is a good QB. Drake May knows he's a good QB. And like, I don't think people realize the head coach is in the draft room making the decisions too. Since buying the team, I've always considered myself and my family as a public asset. We have tremendous fans who expect to deserve a better product we have delivered in the recent years. I apologize for that. I've given much thought and consideration as what actions I can take to aspire our return to championship contention and determined this move was the best option. I'm grateful for Jared's many contributions to the New England Patriots throughout his career and will always rooting for his success. I appreciate all his hard work, co-experience, helping out in the future, as I still believe he's a successful head coach in the league. I wish Jared and his family nothing but succeed. But honestly, I'm like trying to think before I speak because I know I'm gonna say something really, really messed up, and I know he has better options. Look at a team right now that underperformed. Look at what team is going to fire their coach this year because they have not, their expectations were too high and they fell. So I definitely expect like the Jets. Like the Jets, the head coaches, they're looking for a new head coach. The Raiders are. I'll be really, really surprised if the Colts aren't. The Cowboys are. I don't want him. We already know with Mike McCarthy. The Cardinals are 49ers are not going to look for one. This is just a big hit. Bears are. The best situations, you go to a team like the Falcons or the Bears. I would be happy to leave, but we also need to talk about the G's versus the Broncos, and I don't want to talk about that. So I just wanted to yell a little bit and tell people how stupid they are with all of this. Because like people really, really make me mad with all that. Like people always are saying like, but also breaking news: Doug Peterson got fired. By the way, follow my Twitter, my follow the X, and then follow all that. I break all the news on there. But I don't know. But I think that's what we're all going to be talking about. Oh, I need to do my playoff predictions. I need to do my playoffs. NFL playoffs. All right, so the very first game is Vikings versus the Rams. I think Vikings obviously are going to win that. Washington versus Tampa Bay. I think Washington's going to win that. Tampa Bay, I don't know. Green Bay versus Philly. I hope Green Bay wins, but I think Philly's going to win it. Chargers versus Houston, depending on who's playing, like what type of game Chargers are going to play. I think the Chargers are going to win. And then Baltimore versus Pitt, I think Baltimore is going to win. Denver versus Buffalo. I think Denver is coming on a big win versus the Chiefs. So I don't know. That's a close game, but I'm going to say Buffalo. So it's going to be Buffalo, Baltimore. I think Buffalo's going to win that. And then KC. I think KC versus Houston. I think KC obviously is going to win that. And then AFC side, I think KC is going to go Super Bowl. On this side, Detroit versus Washington. I think Detroit's obviously going to win. And then Vikings versus, I hope, Packers. Oh, no, it would be Vikings versus Washington. I think Washington might go NFC with the Lions, depending how it goes. And then I think Casey's going to win the championship. But I might be wrong, so who knows? I want to say thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace out, guys.